Yes, I know. Just sorry.
What are you up to? You're causing mayhem somewhere.
I know, I know. No, I wasn't causing mayhem. I just wanted you to just for a brief second think, hang on, where's he gone? But yeah, I'm here. I'm here looking forward to an interesting battle. Now, this map that they've chosen, it's kind of ironic considering we're surrounded by snow and now we're fighting on a snow map. So, Where's everyone gone? Okay. Looking at this, 85 versus 94 at the moment, so we'll have to wait and see what happens.
That'll be the 15th stacking up on more members than they say they're going to bring as usual.
Oh, the curse those 15th. But yeah, this is going to be interesting because obviously we've got a blizzard and viewing distance is relatively limited. So in that respect, it's going to make things interesting when they're actually doing or trying to sort out their strategy.
Definitely. Andre is renowned for getting lost in these conditions within the 77Y. It's a running theme with him. If there's a snow map, he's not allowed to lead for those exact reasons you just named.
Okay. Has he been to the Georgia School of Direction Finding?
He has a school of his own. He runs off in entirely the opposite direction. It's not just a slight turn.
Okay. Right, well, apparently the snow has been ditched in favour of the desert, so that's significantly better, and it appears to have fixed the lag that everybody was having. So snow maps, while looking pretty, not really good for general server lag.
No, that was the big problem we had with the latest Siege event. The snow that Happy Banana decided to put in was causing tremendous issues. So unfortunately he'll have to fix that, and in this case it's a lot easier because they just pick another map.
Definitely, definitely. So we're just waiting for them to get themselves sorted out, and we'll be underway with this historical line battle, or is it just a line battle of normal sorts?
I don't believe these ones are historical. The historical ones unfortunately collapsed when the organiser left the regiment he was with. So this is just a usual line battle, but they do have the you must fire in formation rule, and I think anyone over 15 men in a line has to form a double rank.
Oh right, I see. That sounds good. We got a few dragoons and hussars and other people like that having a little bit of a fight in the desert, so it's going to take a little while for everyone to get set up in the meantime. So we're looking at the Russian spawns over here, people moving up into their various areas. These guys like building their defensive areas for the artillery, I know that for sure.
Oh yeah, it saves having to deal with cavalry if you can just go hide in your little fort.
Yeah, true, but it also makes it harder for the cavalry to get to you when there's not many people left, as they discovered on the line battle recently, when they tried to attack Fort Morph.
Ah yes, Morth is renowned for his forts. I do wonder if he ever actually plays the game to fight or whether he just likes building.
That's pretty much the impression I get, is I don't think I even saw him fire a shot. Maybe he swung his axe in the general direction of the enemy, but yeah, it was certainly interesting.
So for the benefit of the people watching this on the stream, you will be able to find this on Chadman's channel. What day are you going to release this, Chad?
I don't know, I'll make it a surprise. No, I'll probably release it tomorrow.
So you can always catch his view, or if you have to go, you can catch up with it there.
Exciting stuff.
Yeah. Oh, the numbers are looking... Well, both teams have gone up in numbers, so it's still just as unbalanced as before.
It should be interesting, that's for sure. So I managed to get in there and team kill a few people, so I'm feeling better about myself.
Ah, excellent.
Yeah,
obviously been trained by Jojo.
No, well, no, the thing is, what I had to do is, when I rejoined and got all the problems sorted and finally came back to do my Napoleonic Wars return, I celebrated by joining your side and team killing Aztir, so I couldn't think of a better way to celebrate.
I just noticed Woden is in the server, so we can be sure to see death and destruction there.
Yes, indeed, and it looks like we're underway with the first round. Probably looking at 5, possibly 6 rounds. 3, or I would say about 5, 3 on one map, 2 on the other. And we're looking at the Russians and Great Britain, United Kingdom, against each other on this lovely desert map. So we've had a few people who are complaining about lag at the moment. We've got the cannons from the Russian spawn making their way up to find a suitable hill. You've got Night Shroud in from the SA Dragoons. He is the commander of the Russian team, and let's see what's going on. This is quite a nice map for the artillery. Plenty of low hills, good visibility, just the kind of things they like, Mal.
Yeah, there's nice visibility, but there's just enough of those hills in nearly all parts of the map that I think clever infantry will be able to avoid nearly all cannonballs.
Yeah, it's... Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think you'll see a line, you know, completely decimated by a single cannonball, unless they make a serious mistake.
It's certainly possible. We'll have to wait and see, as I think a few members of the SA Dragoons are having a little bit of connection issues. We'll just have to wait and see, but they're in charge of the artillery, so that will make things an entertaining exploit, that's for sure. And we're waiting to see what happens as the Russian lines are now starting to make their move out, and the cannonballs are coming in from the British side, firing across that valley. You've got line troops moving over to the right, it looks like possibly skirmishers down the middle, more cannonballs flying in from the British artillery, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens. What do you think they're going to try and do here, Mal?
From looking at the choice of artillery for the Russians, I'd suggest they're going to play defensive, as they've gone for a howitzer, which almost certainly will not reach that distance. They can probably hit them, probably where the skirmishes are maximum, due to their elevation. They will not be taking out the enemy artillery with it from there, that's for sure.
We're watching, at the moment I'm over having a look at Edmund Phipps from the 60th with his nice long line of, oh dear, it looks like we might be transferring to another server.
Oh, well, we nearly got a line battle.
We nearly got a line battle, so yeah, this is the kind of problems that a lot of people have. I mean, you've talked a little bit about these kind of problems. Can you go into a little bit more detail about the kind of issues that the server has when it's operating?
Well, Mount & Blade, just in general, was never really designed for massive multiplayer. When it first came out, the servers were nowhere near this large. I think there were maybe 60 people maximum, and then people found a way of sort of unlocking them to get up to 250, which is what the native one's capable of. And it can just about manage that on native, but Napoleonic Wars most definitely can't. And they sort of limited it to 200, but even that strains these servers. You only have to have one bad day on a server box and you get this, which is where the 100 plus pings on everybody. You get this nice effect where it's like you're walking in soup. You take one step forwards, but it only actually goes about half step distance, which doesn't really work when you're trying to melee.
Yeah, I can imagine. Also, isn't there an issue relating to cores and how the server actually operates, relating to that kind of explains why the issues are having with the lag?
Yeah, I spoke to our previous server host, and he said that the Napoleonic Wars servers run on a single core, even if it's a multi-core server, and that all of the lag isn't connection lag, it's that the core on that CPU is completely maxing out. I mean, servers try to take advantage of having multiple cores, and if the game is just completely incapable of letting them, they're going to suffer as a result.
Yeah, I mean, we even had multi-threading coming from the days of the P4, so I mean that is a bit of a surprise. So it looks like we're moving on to a different server, and same password as before, 15H battle, and I guess we need to make a move. So
just switching the stream over so nobody saw the password there.
Okay, so 15th battle, so I am going to disconnect now. Good evening, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, and Aztir. We are bringing you a Monday night line battle. The raw excitement and goodness that is Napoleonic Wars line battle. And we have the pleasure of the company of Malekith. Good evening.
Good evening.
Right. Well, I don't know about what's going on, but these guys really like their desert maps, don't they, Mal?
Yeah, you actually usually get a map that isn't covered in hills fairly rapidly, which is why desert tends to be a favourite, because it just saves time.
It kind of makes me wonder, why don't they start playing on maps that are like as flat as a billiard table or something? It'll just, you know, maybe the odd tree here and there, so an entire regiment has to hide behind a single tree. I'd pay money to watch that.
There did used to be a Sunday map that was entirely flat, except at the ends there was a small rise for the cannons to sit on. That was where howitzers got banned from that event after their entire lines destroyed in one shot.
I can imagine. Good for comedy, but not perhaps for the enjoyment of all parties. So we're watching the Russians as they're making out. We, of course, have the 15th Rifle, Major Dr. Boomflaps, great name, moving out with his skirmishers in a line. You've also got a collection of the doorstop heads over here. Let's see who this is. There's Senkrist, 15th Light, leading his troops out in a line. And, oh, goodness me, Cannon Incoming, nice name, from the 75th Art, has just taken out Night Shroud from the SA Dragoons. So, pretty effective fire coming in from the Russian artillery there, Mal.
Yeah, you can't say you didn't warn him either.
It's just polite. Now, the thing is, I also noticed that the Russians... so there you go, the SA Dragoons have actually got a howitzer. Now, obviously, this is what you mentioned previously, relating to it won't give them the range, but maybe they're hoping once the enemy get a little bit closer, they can get a nice explosive kill on them. And I think we're looking at a potential run-in on the left-hand side of the map. You can see lines of Russians moving up the far side. Oh, God, he's done it again.
Well, that howitzer's nearly inoperative now. They just took out half its crew.
And, oh no, Dr. Boomflaps has copped a bullet in the face, taken down by Yassiri. And you can see fire coming in from the 15th. The cavalry guys also firing back at the 5th Brigade. So nice accurate fire from these riflemen as they now start moving in, keeping in the loose skirmish formation. You've got Magical Trevor standing up on a hill, firing a pistol at the enemy. Now, if he doesn't get shot, I will be very surprised. And another member of the SA Dragoons gets taken down again. There we go, he just got kicked off the rock.
Woden was just brutally slaughtered.
Congratulations! So Woden is keeping up with his standard fare of dying within the first minutes of a line battle. So it's good to see that the man is consistent. I'll give him that, Mal.
Yep, he nearly survived a round last week, but just after his team had won, someone kind of came up and stabbed him through the back. So we got away with it. It was a close one, but...
Now, looking at the Baker Riflemen over on the far side, you've also got a beautifully organised line at the back here. Looks to be the 60th. Goodness me, look at all these guys. And you've also got the 1ER also beautifully lined up. So things are... they're just taking their time. They're using the skirmishers to try and take down the enemy because obviously it's skirmisher on skirmisher. The advantages of those accurate rifles at distance, Mal, really going to be help.
Yeah, compared against the line, those things will completely decimate. Skirmisher against skirmishers are always just complete luck shooting. They're both spread out. In this case, it's extremely long range for any gun in this game, really. So any kills really are luck on other skirmishers, but they'll quite happily hit a line at that distance, which is why you tend to prioritise them rather than the other skirmishers.
Now, we're looking at the line. Looks like they're getting set up as they are making their move up the side of the hill. They are coming under some fire from the riflemen, but they do have a collection of line infantry coming up behind them. However, they're going to run into a world of pain. But looking at that, you've also then got another Russian line moving up, and the Scots Guards have moved down. So there's the 1ER engaging the 87th Foot. So poor old Major Stewart catches a bullet almost immediately. And that's very unfortunate. Granty Poo taking out Infect Bomb. God, I love these names. And up. So Cannon Incoming's unblemished record has unfortunately just ended as he manages to team kill one of his teammates. But it's only a recruit, so it's not too bad.
The Highlanders just got completely unaware, stabbed to the side of the face by the light infantry there. But they seem to have rallied rather rapidly and are now kicking arse.
Apparently so, yes. Those skirt-wearing buggers are not to be messed with, but unfortunately... Oh, dear, that was very nasty. Shot somebody in the face from about 2 feet away. And the Scots are now fighting for their lives on this desert hill, and we're waiting to see what happens. You've also got them engaging as skirmishers at the top of the hill as well. Yeah, a little bit of comment of out of formation. Sometimes these things happen, so... let's just see, as the Scots are now chasing down the remaining Russian line. You've got a partisan in there with his big pole with a nice spear on the end of it, or spike. So that's 87th Sir Digby Anus, great name. Unfortunately, it didn't do him much good as his spiky pole. He got poleaxed by a Scot with a bayonet.
I must admit, I'm very impressed with the melee of those Scots guards there. They took out the entire light infantry, the entire Russian guards, and then went and finished off that line that came up. I mean, they did have skirmisher support, but that's still impressive to have that many people left. In fact, I don't think they lost a single person after the first line.
Yeah. Comment, Highlanders OP nerf, please.
No.
The Scottish are overpowered. For those people who have eaten Boost or drunk Red Bull and know exactly what's going on. So we've got 1 ER in there. This is the 1 ER doing great with the melee skills. And they're coming in. Oh, Ivan nearly took out the commander as he's charging in. So it looks like we got a push in by the Dragoons. They're unfortunately bashing into each other. And it looks like the 1 ER now reforming, trying to get into a safer location. As looks like the members of the cavalry... UKUF, I think it is, Sharko there from the 15th Cav. Oh dear. Just got shot close distance by the riflesman. Not looking good here, Mal.
No, the 7th Cav are all over those skirmishers. They're completely unsupported, so they shouldn't really be able to survive this at all. As you can see, they're wiped out completely. And there's still a significant amount of those cavalry left. And led by the general, of course.
Yes, indeed. Now, part of the issue that they're going to have... So there's Captain Cavendish looking wonderful with his sideburns and all the rest of it. There is one Russian remaining. Now, you've got to ask... Yeah. This guy's about to have an extremely bad day at the office. So we'll just wait and see what happens. Now, let's just look up...
Have you noticed his name by any chance?
No, I have not. Oh, is it cannon incoming?
No, wait, just wait for it. When you find him.
Haven't found him yet. Nope, still looking. Still looking. Okay. Prepare for a slay, they're saying. Oh my goodness. Oh. Where is this guy?
He's fitting his name perfectly. There we go. You can see him.
He was astray. He strayed away. So we'll be back with the next round. So we're in with the next round, and that was a pretty convincing display by the Brits there, Mal.
Yeah. Someone in the live stream is requesting drugs test on all the Scottish currently.
That's never going to happen. That's never going to happen because I don't think... It's just never... It's what are the chances of getting a non-drug related urine sample out of a Scotsman? It's just never going to happen.
I must admit, all of them are sporting pretty substantial facial hair, with the exception of the 2 women at the back, but that's kind of to be expected.
Well, I don't know. I think I've met a few Scottish women with quite substantial facial hair, so I don't think it's kept just to the men, but we'll have to wait and see how that goes. But yeah, definitely a shout out to the 1ER and their fabulous Scottishness today. So yeah, they're doing pretty good so far.
They all have fabulously tanned knees that do not match the colour of the rest of their complexion.
Yeah, that is rather strange, isn't it? Maybe they've been like kind of, falling asleep on a bar of chocolate or something like that. But we'll have to wait and see. So it looks like we've got the lines now moving out. You've got the Dragoons sitting and waiting for an opportunity. And you've got the lines of the English, the standard line infantry, moving out. So let's see. So there's John Mackay, Lieutenant John Mackay from the 60th. And look, the 75th Art are doing a great job doing a real number on the poor SA Dragoons and their artillery today.
Yeah, the SA Dragoons, they've not been particularly practiced in cannons as far as I'm aware. I've not seen them in many events, whereas the 75th have had plenty of time to practice theirs, I believe.
That's always a good sign. This kind of thing that you have to practice because it's not easy to do. Obviously, you have the Terminator, otherwise known as Temerai, on your regiment, and it's just kind of, you see him in the publics all the time practicing frequently, and I've actually stood next to him and I've watched him snipe with a cannonball, and it is scary as hell.
Yeah, he spends far too much time practicing that. On a plus note, they have learnt from their mistake with the howitzer, and they are now on double cannons.
This is always a good sign. This is always a good sign. So, as normal with these guys, they are obviously hiding their numbers behind the brows of the hill because you want the enemy, really, you're kind of lulling the enemy towards you, getting them to come and overcommit, so to speak, charge up the hill, and then you suddenly charge in with loads of opposing forces. That seems to be quite a common strategy. I've seen it in a lot of the line battles, the strategic use of hills to hide numbers. Mal?
Yeah, definitely. Especially in mixed regiment events, you'll always try and hide your numbers and hope that one of the regiments isn't in particularly good communication with the rest of the team. They come out exposed alone, you just wipe them out, full force against that one poor line, and you've instantly got a massive advantage over the other team.
Unfortunately, Senkris has just disconnected from the server, so I think he may have crashed out. Would be a tad unfortunate, and Sir Spill from the cavalry has just dismounted from his horse and also disconnected. So, a few members being a few people, unfortunately, disconnected from the server. Always happens in these kind of games. Getting them back in might be a little bit trickier, and we're just waiting to see what happens because no sides seem to be engaging each other at the moment. Oh, a nice kill from Bo Juice into Horatio Baxter.
Yeah, they seem to be just letting the cannons have some sniping at each other for now. The Russians are moving some lines out in the open. I'm surprised the British aren't focusing on them.
And Woden,
what's Woden up to?
And Woden team kills somebody. Oh, this is why this man is not to be trusted with any kind of firearm, sharp implement, and is definitely not allowed to run with scissors. That's why when he has a fork for dinner, we have to put a cork on the end to stop him stabbing himself in the head.
Another mental image I'm going to be laughing at for the rest of the night.
Anyway, so let's see what's going on as, yeah, it's a bit of a standoff at the moment, Mal.
Yep, I'm not sure who's going to make the first move. The British definitely have the best defensive position. They could advance quite happily down the sides, whereas if the Russians tried that, they'd very easily get spotted. The cavalry of the British is the further away, though, so they're not going to react particularly quickly.
Now, do you think there's a possibility that the cavalry of the British might try and circle round the map and take out the artillery of the Russians from the rear? Do you think that's a viable possibility?
It's a viable possibility, but I suspect they're playing more defensive. That's the 15th's favourite tactic for their cavalry, is running circles until there's an opportunity, especially if it's the cannons or the skirmishers. So I suspect the British cavalry is just sort of protecting against that at the moment.
Now, he's done it again! What's going on? So Woden appears to be assassinating his own team. I have to say there seems to be a defensive structure in the Russian cannon area. Looking at their defensive-minded thing, they are determined to defend from that point. So apparently Woden's slightly drunk. To be honest, we've seen him play. Drunk might be an improvement.
You beat me to it.
Sorry, what can I say? He's had one too many wickets. Oh, I love wickets. They're great fun. There's a bottle-throwing partisan in here. So Digby Anus from the 87th. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting to see him move. And there we go. It looks like the Russians are now starting to move down one side of the map. It's looking pretty good. You've got... Oh, no, but they've taken a lot of fire. A lot of fire taken by the fire coming in from the Scots Guard. I think that's the 1ER yet again. Great fire there by these Scots Guards. They're doing really accurate job with their rifles and muskets, aren't they, Mal?
Yeah, I'm very surprised the Russian skirmishers haven't pushed up to focus on them. It's a built-up line. It's a massive target. They could have really done some damage to them, but instead they seem to be content with massive long-range firing on skirmishers on the opposite hill.
Yeah, looking at it at the moment, you've got these skirmishers at the, up the top of the hill that I'm looking at. They're trying to take out what looks to be the line and the skirmishers on the lower part of the hill, but you've also now got the 1ER moving up aggressively into this little area. Cannon incoming has just killed another person there. As yeah, looks, there you go, the 7th of horse. They looks like they've hit the artillery. They've hit the Russian artillery, and oh my goodness, this is absolutely brutal. Look at this. Oh my God, sabres swinging left, right, and centre. They have absolutely butchered the Russian artillery. That was nasty. That was a very opportunistic attack by the dragoons for the English, and that was pretty nasty, I have to say.
Yeah, I was very impressed with their attempt to corral their horses in the paddock at the end there.
Yeah, it was rather good. Oh, we got a horn player, Bugler Harrington, no less, from the 7th horse. So it looks like they're trying to capture a rogue horse who's now run off. So the horse is now run off with, I think it is Marsh now trying to capture the horse, and trying to get back on the horse. So essentially, he's got a runaway horse. They're trying to corral him so they can get on, and he makes it. There we go. He is now rehorsed. And
the 15th have just retaliated by annihilating the British artillery in exactly the same fashion.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful stuff. That's what we like to hear. So, the question is, what are we going to do next? What are the 60th, who we're looking at with Lieutenant John Mackay, moving out and supporting the Baker Riflemen as they are pushing in and having a line battle by the looks of it. Yeah, it looks like a little bit of stabby goodness going in from skirmishers and light infantry into the Baker Riflemen. And there's also, obviously, there's 15th Rifle, Dr. Boomflaps going in with a bayonet, gets blocked. Oh, takes a little bit of damage, but he's doing a good job of defending himself. And you've got, oh, here they come, the Dragoons. Oh, no. Oh, dear. Oh, no. This is going to get messy. Dr. Boomflaps is trying to dodge as many sabres as he can. He manages to kill one. Oh, no. This is terrible news for him. It's terrible. He's being attacked from multiple directions. Zorro then takes him out. And, yeah, that's pretty much all she wrote on that particular one. The Dragoons proving themselves to be a force to be reckoned with on this map now.
Definitely. Have you seen this lovely little defensive circle the Russians just had going? It was the 87th.
Yes. I just caught it out of this corner of my eye. And, yeah, it turned to be a little blob that they were dealing with. Try and deal with the horses. Oh, poor old G. Drew gets taken out at the rear as they're making a run away. So let's see if we can move in to see who this line is up on the hill. Looks to be standard line infantry. Yep, English line infantry. Edmund Phipps from the 60th. As the Dragoons proceed over the hill and are looking for the enemy. Aha, I think they've spotted the enemy cavalry. We could be talking about a situation where we have cavalry on cavalry action. Mal.
Yep. The problem is there's only 2 Russian cavalry. Oh no, here come the rest. There was 2 advanced scouts.
There we go. The charge has been given and they're in. This is going to be a cavalry battle over the top of hills. Lots of sabre swings. Looks like a couple of... There we go. Kills have occurred already. The Dragoons doing their best, trying to take down as many people as possible. Gentlemen barged to the ground. Sabre slice in the face for Eduardio. And Pete Perkins gets mowed down by a horse. And more sabre swings going in from the Hussars. There we go. Union Jake gets taken down in the 60th. That's Felix who takes him down from the 15th Cavalry. Now, the thing is, there's a little section of the 15th Cavalry over to one side. They are away from the section that has just been butchered. Whoops-a-daisy. Butchered by the Dragoons who are over this far hill. So... what are our numbers looking at? 17 versus 33. I think it's fair to say the Russians have it all to do, Mal.
Yeah, especially with the British cavalry around. If they can combine arms of the line and the cavalry together, then the Russians should be easily taken out.
Now, are these heavy cavalry that we're looking at? The Dragoons, are they generally regarded as heavies?
Let me just find them. Yes, they are the heavy variant, I believe.
Okay, so that means obviously slightly heavy horses, not as fast as light horse would be, but they're still pretty effective. The question is, will they be able to catch up the Russians who are attempting to run as fast as they can away?
That is the Russian heavy horse as well, so they should be the same speed.
There we go. Looks like the stab's coming in. This poor fellow has now got a half a regiment after him. This is kind of like sort of a running battle. This is Grand Theft Horse we're watching at the moment as the Dragoons are coming in, chasing down the enemy. There we go. He gets taken down and he gets... oh, he manages to kill one of the Dragoons very quickly. Oh, that was nice play there by Sharko. Going in, gets hit by a sabre. He's trying to defend against the attacking Dragoons. He's got a nice long horse sabre there with a little bit of extra reach as we're looking at fire coming in onto the Russians remaining. This little blob, including a partisan. The bottle-throwing Sir Digby Anus is in there. And here we go, charge in by John Mackay of the 60th. He goes in with a sabre slash into Recruit Boyle. And this is looking pretty good as far as the English are concerned. 4 left of the Russians. I think it's fair to say it's not going well for the Ruskies.
Definitely not, and even the out-of-formation firing that went on there didn't help them.
Oh dear, the admin in you just can't help yourself, can you, Mal?
Oh, well, if we get a sign up to the event, you might as well play by the rules.
So the poor guy who's left standing is having a little bit of a... Yeah, he's just got barged down by a lot of people. So poor old Felix is no more. And let's see. 1 man left standing. Let's see if... I wonder if it's the same guy again. No, oh no, it's Cavalry Captain Archer. Oh, lovely sabre slices. Oh, look at that. Takes down one of the enemy and another as well. Look at that. He's dehorsing people. Oh, he's doing really well. And he's not doing any well anymore. And he dies, and the map has been changed, I do believe, Mal. We're on to the next one.
Yep.
Well, we're back with another map. Well, at least it's significantly less desert than the previous one.
I can't... Did you see if it was plains or Oh, the other one.
Random steppe.
Okay.
What's the difference? What's the difference? Steppe. When you say steppe.
The ground's slightly less green. Other than that, they're fairly similar.
Oh right, so it's kind of like English grass. You know, it's a bit sort of... Well, I wouldn't say English, sort of American grass. You know, it's very sun-bleached, so to speak.
Yeah,
Oh goodness.
Still changing. I know. Okay, now we're on to plains.
Oh, this doesn't look very... Plains normally implies to me a flat area. This is mountains. These are sodding great big huge mountains. Oh, they didn't keep it. Oh.
It's the Alplains, as somebody said.
That would have been so good to have seen, you know, the artillery spend like 90% of the map just getting their flipping artillery up the hill. That would have been worth it, just for sheer comedy value.
This map you're looking at here is always an interesting one to play. It's basically a big bowl, so the artillery ends up around the outside, and then everyone's running around in the middle.
Kind of like a bit of a crapshoot, so to speak, or what's the word? Shooting fish in a barrel, I suppose you could call it. Okay, this is interesting.
This will get swapped as well, I believe. Really?
Yeah, because, I mean, look at some of those hills, though. They are absolutely stonkingly big. The trouble is, you know, if you jump down one of these hills on a horse, you can potentially lose your horse because it takes the damage to its legs, and that thing, you know, you're on the floor. And we're off to another map. So this is kind of like, maybe this is part of the battle, you know, battle of the maps to see which map wins.
It's for this reason that you'd normally institute a vote system of some type. In our case, the leader of each line gets the vote. In the case of this event, the colonels of the regiments get to vote. I'm
surprised there's not kind of some sort of automatic voting system. So when the map comes in, you know, people who have permissions are able to vote on the map, yes or no, and it automatically can then change based on that. I've seen that on quite a lot of other servers. I guess Mount and Blade doesn't have that level of server support. It
does, but then you'll find that the people who aren't the officers will just group up with whatever they want. You'll find that because cannons have considerably fewer crew, the line infantry will basically decide the map, regardless of whether it's fair for everyone else or not.
Right, yeah, I understand what you're saying. But, you know, I mean, unless you put it in a kind of permissions thing where only the colonels can vote and stuff like that, so I suppose you'd have to kind of have some kind of Steam authentication so you know it's the person who is a colonel, etc. And then we're back to the flipping desert again. Knew this would happen.
Apparently they're keeping this one.
Yeah, apparently somebody called it Napoleon Desert Warfare in Honour of Duty 5. So.
Honour of Duty 5.
Okay, well, there we go. We are on to this map now and looking at the English getting themselves set up. So, obviously the English have proven themselves to be dominant thus far. The Russians have not. And, oh my goodness, they've lost their cannon guy already, almost immediately. That's going to hurt them pretty badly, Mal.
Yeah, and apparently Magical Trevor doesn't quite love that guy quite so much.
Apparently not.
Pistoled him in the face.
Well, the thing is whether or not is love's involved, but it could be more of a case of discipline, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I've seen a little bit of disciplining going on and things of that nature, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens. So We're looking at Captain Brum from the 15th line, looking for the British forces, and we've got cannoneers from the Russians. So that will be the goons making their way up. And here we go. So there's Electric Poke from the SA Dragoons, and they are looking to get themselves on this nice little hill. Surprised they're not going for the bigger hill on the right, but I suppose it would take longer to get up there, Mal.
Yeah, the hill they're going for, probably just to their left if you're looking at the Russians, would be their best point, but this map is so sort of hilly, I don't think it's going to help anyone. It's definitely not an artillery map, this one.
Yeah, now looking at it at the moment, it looks like they've decided to go for that little gap in between the two hills. So is that more of a sensible manoeuvre, do you think? Or it looks like actually they've just changed their mind and they're now moving those cannons to a different location. Let's see who that drummer is.
Where they were, they couldn't see the whole left of the map, and you can clearly see that's where the British are heading, so they would have been completely useless if they'd stayed where they were.
So we're watching the SA Dragoon's Night Shroud with his wonderful drumming skills as everyone is getting themselves into position. Russians are moving out. You can see lines making their way over. Whoops-a-daisy. Senkris has just slain one of his own people. He was told to change class. Ah, there we go. Internal discipline for the win. And we are looking at a contingent of the English. Ah, wow, this is a pretty big line that is on its way over to the Russians. This is going to get messy very quickly, Mal.
Yeah, the British cannons, I can't quite decide whether they're in a reasonable position or not. If the Russians stay up on that hill they're on, they're in trouble. But if they move down to this forward position where the 17th are, I don't think those cannons will be particularly effective just because they're straight on as opposed to being able to fire down a line at all.
Yeah, now, I don't know if you've noticed, the Russians have actually moved their cannons up a little bit further into one of the lower hills. So it could be that they're going to come under fire from the English forces, the British forces, sorry, quite quickly. However, they might be able to do some damage. We'll have to wait and see what happens, Mal.
Yeah, the skirmishers can definitely shoot on them from there. You can see the kicks up in the sand landing near them. Whether they'll hit, again, at that range, it's complete luck, but you only need to be lucky once, and that's a gunner down.
Definitely. So the question is, I think what they're trying to do, there we go, we've got one cannon aiming for the British artillery, and another, oh, look at that! A cannonball literally bounced right over the top of Zephyrum as he was getting to load up the cannon, so that came very close, and it looks like we just had Night Shroud just catch a bullet in the shoulder as he was doing his drumming thing. So we're waiting to see what happens as more fire coming in. Oh, cannonball just avoided by Night Shroud there. He literally just ducked it only by a few inches, and it seems that both of the Dragoons artillery, oh dear, Woden's off again, are aiming for the English artillery rather than the line on the left-hand side.
Yeah, it looks like the Russians may be trying to sneak down the map edge, which is a clever idea. It puts this hill the British are actually sitting on in between them and their cannons. They won't get any cannon support, but there is a lot of British on this hill. I don't know if they realise that yet.
Well, the thing is, at the moment, all they see is those skirmishers, and that could be part of the issue.
They should be able to see the two lines on the right if the guys on the map edge have communication with the rest of the army, which is really the big question.
Yeah. Now, obviously, looking, Zephyrum has just taken a bullet, and there is a move by, of course, the 1 ER, the Scots Guards gentlemen, making their move over. So they are looking for a possible outflanking manoeuvre. And this is obviously basic military strategy, getting them into some kind of crossfire so that you can take down as many of them as quickly as possible, Mal.
Yeah, those Scots Guards, they could have been jumped by the combined forces of the Russians, but they revealed their hand far too early. They've shown what they've got up there, and the British have just stopped. They're not going to come up here now. If they would have left it looking like this top of this hill was weak, you may have been able to convince the Scots Guards to attack up it, but not anymore.
Oh, and it looks like, yeah, there we go. The artillery of the Russians has just been jumped by the Dragoons of the English. So there we go. Yet again, the 7th Horse taking down pretty much all of the poor dragoons here. Always be closing is the remaining member standing. And he goes in with a nice stab on the horse. He takes down one of the dragoons. Can he go in for the second stab? He does. Lovely kill indeed. The only member of the SA Dragoons. And very close to catching a saber thrust there. So the question is, that's essentially the Russian artillery has been neutralised, Mal.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. They should have really had someone acting as a spotter just to watch that coming in. I mean, they've built their fort, but they didn't even have a chance to get to it. They were all slaughtered around the guns, so they just didn't see those cavalry coming.
Now, I'm wondering where that cavalry came from. The trouble is obviously you've got Captain Jammy, who's up here on the top right. He could have spotted that cavalry coming in, but obviously because they're not on the same team, he couldn't communicate that unless he did it in standard text chat. So this is the limitation that you always have, as we got a nice little blob of Russians from the 87th Foot trying to deal with these rotating around them Dragoon, who's still trying to get a quick saber thrust in there.
Yeah, he's just trying to take something down before he goes. They do outreach the bayonets if he does that circling motion, so that's why he's doing it, and the line know that, which is why they're being quite defensive about it.
So yeah, you can see them actually essentially... Oh, somebody just got taken out there. As, yeah, they're just trying to get in there and just get a couple of quick stabs on that horse. And he's on the floor, and then they can swarm all over him and deal with the problem. So this is McGee. There we go. Nice kill there from Sharko into McGee.
And he can take his horse now.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is good news for them. And you've also got a random horse which is now running off. So they're going to try and corral that so that their teammate can then get mounted up. And away they go. So you've got a Dragoon also in there as well, trying to deal with a couple of dehorsed Hussars and Dragoons, as one of them is getting barged to the floor. Oh, look at that.
British assault here coming up the hill.
Okay, let's see if we can lock in on them. Let's see. Oh, trying to find them. See, keep locking up. Here we go. Yeah, we're seeing it at the moment. Now, the thing is, you can see what they've done is they've split off their forces. The skirmishers have sent, and Woden has died. They sent the skirmishers over to the left-hand side to support the Dragoons. You've then also got the Russians now being attacked from one side. You've still got the Scots Guard waiting down there. So, here we go. They're now moving slowly towards the enemy. And, yeah, this is going to be quite interesting. So here we go. Here's the 1ER, Colonel Sergi, leading his men up this large sand dune. Obviously, their movement is limited. They can't really get out there that quickly, and the Russians are going to have to rotate round. There we go. They've seen him. They're rotating round. They're looking at the line. They're presenting, and they're going to pour fire. There we go. Poured fire. Poor old Sergi takes a bullet very quickly, and the 1ER Grenadiers are now firing back with as much fire as they can muster now.
Yep, I think they will very quickly go into melee. We've seen earlier that's where they excel. Oh, firing out formation there from Mr. Ograv.
So there we go. They're now in the melee position at the moment. So the one... Oh my goodness, look at that. So, oh dear. So lots more stabby goodness occurring. And you've obviously got Aguadio in there as well, trying to go in there and saber thrust everybody that he can. And, oh dear, poor old Slater Fist there, taking a saber to the back of the knees. And this, yeah, the 5th Brigade apologise for that shot, as we're waiting to see what happens. As how many people have we got left? 40 versus 21. So this is going to be still quite interesting. There's still numbers that can make a difference. It's just how they decide to do it, Mal.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem the Russians will have is they're not actually grouped up by the look of it. You've got about 9 on the top of the hill there, with a couple of cav in support, and I don't know where the rest are. It looks like the other side of the map from the gunfire.
Yeah, we've also then got a few... Oh, there we go. 2 of the cavalry just got dehorsed and just got stabbed to death. So you can see them now having a little bit of a fight. There we go, the 1ER coming in, trying to take out the... there we go. The bugler has just been goosed. And we are looking at 1ER as they are making their way. There we go, they picked up the colours. And they are now supported by the skirmishers from the 60th Rifle. So looking pretty good thus far. 10 versus 39. A 4-1 advantage in favour of United Kingdom. It's not looking good.
No, the only possible way that the Russians could win is some extremely good fighting by taking out the lines one at a time, but the first line they're coming across is enormous. So
Yeah.
I don't fancy their chances.
No, we're watching Mr. Tiki as he's moving over, trying to take his line over to the right-hand side so they can pour fire from the top of the hill down into the line of the Brits. There we go. They're forming up in their line. They will be getting in the line. There we go. They're moving forward, trying to present as quickly as they can. They're in the line. There we go. The formation line is in. They're going to present any second. Nope, they're going to go in and charge straight away. So they decided not to do any fire at all. Oh dear.
That's massive rule breaking.
Yes, not great, not great.
Maybe they've changed their rules from what their website actually says, seeing as that was the 60th.
Yeah, it could be, but we'll just have to wait and see as the English are now... This is really going to be a problem for the Russians there, as they had so many of their numbers cut down when they did that charge, that there's only 4 of them remaining, including we're watching Recruit Metal Chickens, who is trying to deal with... Oh, he got a look like Toaster killed Connors, and Metal Chicken's doing his best to try and survive, but gets cut down by Edmund Phipps. So that was unfortunate for him, and we're waiting to see if we can find the remaining members of the Russians. So let's see what kind of result we get from those guys. There we go. We got one of the Russians down here. Private Pete Byrne from the 17th. Oh, kills one of his attackers there. Morpheus gets taken down. Let's see how Private Pete Byrne gets on. He's being attacked by multiple Englishmen. Oh, he takes a little bit of a sabre stab there from the commander, and the commander, Edmund Phipps, takes him down, Mal.
Yep, definitely leaving him there to fight one-on-one, which is always nice, rather than all trying to just rush him.
Yeah, definitely the more honourable option, and we'll move on to the next round. So, at the moment, it's a complete shutout as far as the English are concerned. They have taken all the rounds thus far. The Russians, what are they doing wrong, Mal?
It's just coordination, to be honest. Their skirmishers aren't doing as well as they could be. They need to be trying to focus the enemy lines that are forming up rather than focusing on the enemy skirmishers all the time. And being just a little bit more aggressive. They don't have to stand at massive range just because they've got a more accurate gun doesn't mean they should stand further away.
Now, what's the advantage? Why would you get them to focus on the lines as opposed to the actual other skirmishers? Surely the other skirmishers will be a threat to your line. So you would get because they've got the accuracy, surely you would try and take out the other skirmishers. What advantage does it do?
Well, if you've got the choice between shooting at the line or shooting at the skirmishers, you're going to get far more kills shooting at the line, and then that's an entire enemy line that your lines then don't have to worry about, so you can then manoeuvre around the skirmishers and take them out in melee. Whereas if you're firing on the enemy skirmishers, 50+% of your shots miss completely, meanwhile their line's marching around doing whatever it wants to do.
That makes sense. That makes sense from a strategic point of view. It's what you can do to pare down the enemy forces as quickly as possible. So, yeah, that makes sense from a tactical point of view. Like you say, it's the kind of thing that takes coordination, as we've got the lines and the riflemen getting all caught up. So the 5th Brigade getting caught up with the riflemen as they come out of spawn from the 60th. And we're looking, obviously, with the 1ER. There's Colonel Sergi leading them on. And we're looking at another line of Englishmen making their way out. There's the 60th. There's Recruit Amadi 128. And they're keeping their... I think one of the things that's helping them is their use of combined forces. They are combining the forces quite well together. Combinations of the skirmishers, the line infantry, and the use of the dragoons, Mal, is really helping out the English.
Yeah, the English are definitely staying together nicely. I mean, you just look at them on that hill there. They're all nicely formed up together. Even with their cavalry, you know, everything's together. Whereas if you look at the Russians... they're all spread out. I mean, they're fairly close together, and a couple of the units are working nicely. But you've still got the cavalry are miles out on the left. You've got this one line on a hill on its own, with the sort of the doorstop heads. They're just not together really as a team.
Okay, now obviously the advantage of combined arms means that, as we well know, we've seen before, the skirmishers are not really able to put up some kind of fight against cavalry because they don't have the reach of the bayonets and things of that nature. So that's why having that line infantry nearby them is definitely advantageous for them, as it stops them being jumped and taken out in any kind of force, Mal.
Yeah, you definitely want to be protecting your specialist units and just, in general, keeping your different types of units together. They will have their strengths and their weaknesses, so leaving anyone exposed, it will quite happily get exploited by a team that's organised.
Now, obviously, speaking from a sort of cavalry point of view, you've got Corporal McGee in there as well from the Dragoons. These guys have proved themselves to be very efficient when it comes to jumping the enemy, and timing is everything in this game.
Yeah, I'm wondering if the 7th Cavalry aren't on with the rest of their team in a central TeamSpeak somewhere, because they're very well coordinated. Either that or their scouting abilities are top notch. I mean, it does look like the commander's marching around, and I believe the general's from their team as well, so he will obviously be somewhere else on the map at times.
Yeah, now obviously the general can help scout out the area and things of that nature, so we're looking obviously at Captain Cavendish in as the general. And the artillery, there hasn't been a lot of kills so far. 2 are dead on either side as we speak at the moment. So we've got another standoff, Mal.
Yeah, it's just a very hilly map. Hilly maps are always result in standoffs. As soon as you put a hill in, someone's going to go stand on it, and the other person's not going to want to walk up it. So it looks like the British are making a move now, though. Whether they have noticed the Russians aren't quite as together as they appear to be on this right-hand side.
Oh, I just saw, it looks like the howitza's being used there by Bo Juice. And he's got a nice explosive kill onto Private Perkins. And you've got this nice little line of the 5th Brigade, 1st Grenadiers, who are looking over the top of the hill and look to be trying to take pot shots at the artillery of the Russians down the far side. However, the Russian lines are moving out. There we go, Yabuti taking out Wajul and Yassiri there. So they're certainly finding their range there, as far as I can see, as I fall over my words and move to you, Mal.
Yeah, these skirmishers, you can see now, they should be engaging this line. It's formed up, they're not. They've got the distinct advantage in terms of accuracy of their weapons. But as you can see, the skirmish unit itself, these 6 guys at the back are basically sitting on top of each other. They're all in lines with each other, so that a slight miss to the left of one guy is almost guaranteed to hit the one behind him. They're just not skirmishing properly, to be honest.
Yeah, now that was a very nice cannonball that literally parted the middle of Sencris's hair and his head, and him and several members of his team have just been taken down in this rather undignified pile of corpses. And we're just waiting to see, oh dear, Lance Corporal Scrotum Smash has just died. That's quite an interesting name.
No comment.
It's all a load of bollocks if you ask me. So we're looking at the infantry here as we're looking at the riflemen. So the 60th Riflemen as they are moving in. So Robert Kelly, obviously, a couple of their numbers have taken fire. You've also got a line of infantry at the rear. Oh dear,
Sorry, the Highlanders are moving in. There was a Russian line advancing up the hill, and I was about to say it's going to get a nasty surprise, but the Highlanders went in early. So they're now taking casualties.
Oh dear, that's unfortunate. So yeah, you can see the 1 ER Grenadiers, 1st Grenadiers there. And oh dear, look at that fire coming in. These guys are really good with the accuracy of the guns, taking down a large number of the Scots. There we go, they've done their fire. As soon as they run in, their bayonets are drawn and the stabbiness will continue. Looking, a little bit of firing as they come in on the charge. And aha, there's a bit of bagpipery going on. We've got to follow this, Mal.
Yep, he's just marching straight in the middle there, so we'll see how long he survives.
Oh, he stopped and pulled his sword out, so his bagpipery has come to an end for the benefit of self-preservation. So you can see the skirmishers still firing at these guys as they're charging in. So maybe he's got Kevlar around his bagpipe to protect him from any stray bullets. And we'll just wait and see what's happening as there's Sergeant Ograv trying to take out the Russians as they are cheesing it in the opposite direction. You can see, yeah, this is not looking good. They've become a massive, great big huge blob, and here come the Dragoons. This is not good at all.
Completely surrounded by units of all types from all sides. I don't fancy the Russians' chances.
No, no. Although saying that, yeah, 66 versus 36. This is where, oh, it's so damn messy. Look at this. This is horrible.
You can just tell by the colour of the kill feed how this is going.
Yeah, you can. It's not looking good at the moment. There we go. So many people taken out. 15th Rifle Guards taken out. There's a bit of horse abuse going on there as well, including a gentleman who seems to have died with no leg. And yeah, that was a very good move there by the Russians. Oh, sorry, by the English, I should say. Yeah, I knew what I meant. Shut up. So 26 left, 63 for the Brits, and the Russians have it all to do yet again, Mal.
Yep, definitely. They've got one line heading for, I believe it's the British artillery. Is that a second line with them? It looks like they've got their light infantry there, or at least a line that's not running particularly line-like.
Yeah, we're looking at the 87th Foot at the moment. Now, they're in with Major Stewart. You've got a random horse, obviously. I haven't seen a two-dimensional bird yet so far, so it can't be an official game until the two-dimensional bird turns up. We are looking also at 75th Artillery. There's cannon incoming, and it looks like the Russians might be doing something slightly sneaky.
Yeah, I did like that little head appearing like a sort of inquisitive meerkat before the whole line comes charging over the top.
Yeah, that's shades of Malekith's scouting skills. So out comes the bottle. He's going in for a charge with the bottle. There we go. Decrypt gets taken. Oh, the bottle got thrown, but unfortunately I don't think he managed to kill anyone. So there's Digby Anus takes down Tyrrell. The enemy comes to fight him with the sword. Nice block by Digby Anus, and he is doing quite well. Oh, he's taking stabby goodness here from the enemy, and he is doing a great job of blocking this off. So he's got himself a musket. He's going to try and get away from the enemy. Yeah, he's disappeared, moved up to the enemy who are, or sorry, his friends, I should say, who are looking quite defensive around the areas of the artillery for the Brits there, Mal.
Yeah, the cavalry are riding around the side, drawing a lot of fire, which is allowing some of these lines to move up a bit less molested than they would otherwise have done. I'm not sure what the British riflemen think they're doing. That range is extreme even for them.
Maybe they're hoping to get a couple of lucky shots, pick a few people off, so you can see them all shooting back as quickly as they possibly can. And this is going to be the last stand of the Russians, and it's going to be, it's going to be messy. It's only a matter of time. However, they are using the best cover they can. You've got the 1ER coming up from the left-hand side, another line moving up from the middle. You've got the skirmishers moving up. You've also got the 5th Brigade 95th moving up as well. These guys, this is the last defense of the Russian team now.
Yeah, you bet they were sitting there wishing they could use those cannons when they saw those Highlanders coming over the hill.
Yeah, so in they go. The stabby goodness has begun, and in come the what's left of the dragoons as well, because they end up barging their own people over, that's for sure.
Utterly chaotic in there.
Look at that! It's just, oh my goodness!
Team kills all round.
We'll have a mass murder with a side order of team kills. So that's always going to be the case. The Russians fighting for their life. Nice kill there by Church from 1st KDG. And the next round is the final one, and out comes the celebrationary bagpipe as we're looking at one member, and Woden kills a teammate again.
Bugler Evan is the last one left, and he has the bugle.
Oh, goodness.
And I can see the 2D bird, so this must now be an official
Excellent.
Official map.
Excellent. So, yeah. Yeah, Woden, go home, you're drunk. Bugler Evan, and he's on a horse, so this should be interesting. And he's dead on top of his horse, and his body's still there. Brilliant.
So according to the symbol, he punched himself in the chin and broke his neck.
Apparently so. So we're on to the next round, the final round. So we're back with the final round, and the raw excitement that was that previous stand by the Russians. Let's hope. I'd love to see the Russians get a round on the map. That would be nice, just so it's not a complete whitewash. It would be just nice for them to, for both teams really, especially the Russians though. I always go for the underdog.
Yeah, I did see a very nice comment in the interim though, which was Woden's killed more of the British than any one of the Russians.
Yeah, Woden is a force to be reckoned with, even when he's on your side. So it's very scary stuff. And so we're looking at Maguru, who's in there, and they are moving their cannons into position. So I think they're going to go for this high hill where the cavalry are currently looking. Oh, look at this. This hill where I think they're moving towards will give them a good view of the general area. I think they might be moving to the flatter hills on the left-hand side of that high peak where the cavalry are looking with their spyglasses. Any particular preference when it comes to deployment of the cannons on this map, Mal? What do you think they're doing?
It's just get it as high as you can. There's so many hills. Their effectiveness is going to be limited wherever you put them. Something of interest is all the Russians are running for the back right of the map, except for their cannons, which I suspect will get brutally massacred fairly shortly.
Oh dear. This has the potential to not go well. However, there are cavalry in the immediate area, so whether or not they can support that, we'll have to wait and see. The cavalry are back a bit, so if the artillery gets jumped, that's going to be a problem. I think the part of the issue that the artillery has at the moment, you've got Palace of Hate in there as well, is they don't really have any guards to support them, and that's really what's it's not really they're failing it, but it's kind of that's really what's causing them problems every time they've got into some kind of significant action as a cannonball comes bouncing over the top of their head. What's the important? Obviously, it's pretty important for them to have guards so that they don't have to worry about getting jumped. Isn't that right, Mel?
I would actually tend to disagree, despite what the 77Y do. I got overruled on that one when it came to officer votes. I think having 6 guys stand around at the back doing nothing for 98% of the line battle until they get overwhelmed by 8 times their number of cavalry is a complete waste of manpower.
Okay, well, there we go then. Let's agree to disagree as the skirmishers are making their run up towards the artillery. However, they are going to be firing at the enemy pretty quickly. There we go. Fire comes in from Promontory as he does a lovely kill there. And they're
cheesing it.
Yeah, they are cheesing it well and truly. So sensible, really, under the circumstances. Maybe they can move back once they get out of trouble and do essentially get back into a position where they'll be useful again. What do you think, Mal?
I think the artillery crew's not going to be of any use at all for the rest of this map now. I am liking the explosive crates they left behind in the middle of their fortifications as a kind of last ditch. We're going to take ourselves and you with us.
Yes, I have noticed that.
No one detonated them, though.
No, sadly not. I don't think they could time it, or I don't think they were prepared to leave one man behind to take one for the team, so to speak, which would have been interesting to see, I have to say. But
the only way this could have been better was if they put a little sign on it for the British saying "push here for tea" or something.
Yes, press here for crumpets. So we've got Beaujuice now with the cavalry moving down on them. Cannon incoming, takes down, oh dear, Scrotum Smash and Dr. Boomflaps taken down as we got Beaujuice fighting with the enemy commander and a couple of dragoons. Unfortunately, he gets sabred down by Cavendish. Oh!
And there's the suicide box.
Brilliant.
That distinctive fizz noise can only ever be one thing.
We're not going to let the enemy kill us. We're going to kill ourselves to prevent them falling into enemy hands. So yeah, that was pretty epic, I have to say.
Well, actually, 2 things. It's either utter stupidity or complete genius, depending on whether you manage to goad the enemy into a small building that you've hidden one in.
Yeah, I think considering they were in an open desert, it didn't go as well as they would have planned. But unfortunately, it's just one of those things. Now, let's see if we can lock in on what's going on with the remainder of the Russians. So we've got Senkris here from the 15th Light. He's moving up with skirmishers, the 15th Rifles, and obviously the 15th Foot moving up, and they're about to engage the 1ER. So the 1ER, complete with Ograv the Bagpiper, now deciding to move a little bit, try and get in. Oh, that's a little bit out of formation there. They do fire a few shots. A few people go down, and the guns are picked up. They're now charging in. Oh, look at that. Oh, wow. That's a little bit of firing out of formation going on there, wouldn't you say, Mel?
Yeah, I was contacting the event organiser midway through, and it seems that you are allowed to fire on the charge, but his forum post is completely incorrect. So they need to update that, because there could be regiments attending expecting to have to be firing in line, and then coming across this.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, you know. And people say, "Oh, why do you need all those rules and all the rest of it?" It's to basically try and make sure that everybody plays by the same rules for everybody's enjoyment. That's just a fact of life. So you're seeing the Russians having a little bit of fight as the 1ER are absolutely butchering everybody again. These guys are pretty phenomenally dangerous, I have to say.
Yeah, this is the main reason I dislike the firing on the charge rules. It just turns into a big game of skirmishes once lines get close to each other.
Yeah, I think also part of the thing is it's like it would be nice to charge in and know that you're not going to get shot at as you're charging in. Because I suppose it's a matter of timing as well. If you can actually get your timing right, you can take down quite a few people as the stabs go in there. So TMB Emperor and yet more of the 1ER coming in. And there's one man left standing. Who is that? Rusty McMuff. Great name, sir. Great name. And he is no more. The Muff.
Down by a cadet.
I know. That's not going to go down well. The Muff has been well and truly trimmed, and we shall see what's going on as we're looking at Denaraxia and other members of the Russians as we've...
There's still an outstanding Grenadier and Highlander, as you can see. He's got 3 kills already.
Okay, let's see if we can focus in on him.
Mr. Rainbow Dash here.
That's yes. Oh, there we go. Now, and he's going to get shot at. Oh, and he's dodged the bullets. This is, he's going to dodge. Yeah, he dodges it. Oh, it's a girl. Look out, everyone. You don't mess with girls. Going in for the stab and goes in for that stab. Now, they've all fired their shots. One down.
Chris.
Going for another one. Rainbow Dash is on a flipping run. Look at this. This is fantastic. Looking to 3 versus 1. Gets blocked. Rainbow Dash blocks again. Oh, beautiful turn and stab. Going in for another attack. Oh, my goodness. This is what, 6, 7? Oh, no. Oh, that's so unfortunate. That was pretty goddamn impressive, I have to say, Mal.
Excellent play by the Ruffman there, doing what he was meant to do.
That was pretty impressive. So definite shout out to Rainbow Dash for superb melee skills there. Even for a girl. So let's see what's going on as we're looking at the Russians. Oh, they've got some cavalry, so it's not too bad, but the Dragoons are chasing them. And let's see, yeah, we've got the Dragoons sniffing around at the back here, waiting for the opportunity, as the 17th and the 60th are having a little bit of a gunfight.
Yeah, here's the big fire on the charge.
Oh, goodness.
This looks like a pack of skirmishers, in my opinion.
So we're looking at the mass skirmish in the middle there. Lots of stabby goodness. Plenty of bayonets being thrust in and all the rest of it. So a few saber slashes coming in from Sir Spill from the cavalry. And you've also got a line up the top of the hill as well. I do believe with the partisan Sir Digbianus, or Mr. Digbianus. Sir Digbianus, in fact. And here come the Dragoons going in, trying to take out those skirmishers. They're focus firing on the skirmishers. Have you seen this?
Yeah, the ramrod.
Yeah.
Blackwood. Nothing like a high-speed cotton bud.
There's nothing like that. One will clean out your ears with no questions asked. So you can see this is pretty nasty. Now the thing is, there's Digbianus, and he's managing to avoid it. Oh, he takes down Blackwood. And then Digbianus gets murdered. So there we go. That was it. And let's see. Oh! A poorly timed cannonball.
Couldn't go out without saying goodbye.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, although I did notice as the cannonball came in, it did say, "Have a nice day" written on it. So, you know, that's just polite. So we're looking at the remaining members. Let's see if we can find them. Ah, there we go. I think one of the enemy is cheesing it. There we go. He gets taken down. And that has been the line battle for this evening. A comprehensive win by the United Kingdom forces, Mal.
Yeah, very good game by the English there. So kudos to the 1ER, the 7th Horse, the 60th, and anyone else on their team that I missed.
So there we have it, boys and girls. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.